Hey guys, I'm going to show you a heater that will literally last forever. Even the wick is an eternal wick. And as you can see, the greenhouse, I filled it up with my bonsai. But this type of heater could be used in a greenhouse, inside of a shed, inside of a room, a basement, anywhere you need to heat. And this has got one of the safest burn materials in it that you can imagine. So it's going to produce lots of heat in a safe way. We still have to respect that you have to have all the proper safety equipment. I'm going to talk about that too, and I'll link it down below. So let's get started on building this. It is super simple and super cheap to put together. Now, one additional note about this particular type of heater, you can even use this non-electric fan, and it uses just the heat from the device we're creating to circulate air through the room. So not only if you have zero power, zero electricity, you have air moving throughout the room and is creating quite a bit of heat. So this right here is a key component of our little tiny heater we're creating today. Now I want to go through some of the other components which we're using today, and this, one of the main ones that we're using that you're going to need to make sure you have, is very dry sand. There's two types of sand sold at a lot of the big box stores, and a lot of it contains a lot of moisture, but we want the driest sand possible. So if you look in the garden center and ask them, tell them you want dry sand, you'll be able to find this. But the standard stuff that you see outside, that's going to contain too much moisture and it won't work. So you want dry sand as one of the major components. You're going to need this material right here. Now, I made a video in a heater similar to this in the past, but this material right here is critical to making this heater last forever. It will not burn up this material, and can be used over and over and over once you refuel it. But this is carbon felt. Plumbers use it to weld. It protects wood. If they're welding close to wood, they can put this up against there and weld a piece of copper pipe, and they don't have to worry about this burning up. This is not an ordinary material. This material can take literally 2,000 degrees and not disintegrate and not burn up. So take a look online, take a look at the link in the description below, and I'll put a link to this, but you can also find this at almost all hardware stores. Now the next thing you're going to need is any type of food canister, and I particularly like this when these Lowe pineapple juice cans, there's not anything sprayed on the inside, the lining or anything like that. Also, the size of this is going to allow the heater to last a lot longer before it eventually runs out of fuel. So you're going to need something this big, but you can go down to a smaller size can, but I would recommend using something like this. Now, another important component is a paint can, unused, that hasn't had anything sprayed into the inside. As you can see, this paint can is nothing but the metal. There's no protective lining on the inside. So don't use a paint can that once contained paint, or one that you can see that has a sprayed in lining. So just make sure you order these from the link down below. It comes with 4 to a pack, so you could actually create 4 of these heaters and keep them stored away until an emergency, a camping trip, or just whenever you need them. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut away the outer label from this can, and it's pretty easy to do, although there is a lot of times a small amount of glue. So you can take, sometimes if it's really hot outside when you put this together, this glue will come off a little bit easier, but as it is today, the greenhouse is a little bit cold, so we have a little bit of residue. But you can take some sandpaper or anything else and remove this paper. But what we want to do is we want to use an unused can that's never been used for anything else. So we're going to empty out the material in here and go on to creating the rest of our heater. Now, if you're afraid of cutting your hand on this when you're refueling, then you can use a very specific type of can opener that opens the can. It actually removes the entire lid of the can, so there's no sharp edge. I'm not really concerned about that today, so I'm just going to use my standard can opener. And before we do that, I'm going to try to not make too big of a mess here. Let's see if I can get this on here. I'm watching the camera and watching the can at the same time. So we're just going to open this up. And again, there can be sharp edges, so just be careful if you opt to use just a standard can opener. We're going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to transport this juice to another container so I can consume it at a later time. So one of the things I really like about these metal cans is you can see there's no sprayed in lining. A lot of the smaller size beans and different types of vegetables, there'll be kind of a coating that they sprayed in there. And so you really don't want to do that. Just whatever type you're using, make sure that you inspect the interior of it and make sure there's no any type of sprayed on thing, because once you go to heating this, that could possibly release some type of toxic fume. So just make sure you're using something like this that has a clean, bare interior. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the carbon felt and I'm going to cut it to size. But what we want it to be is we want it to be roughly about 1 inch from the top of the can. So I'm going to probably get 2 even cuts out of this. And so right about there, 1 inch below the top is going to work perfectly. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the carbon felt up into a very tight roll. So just start slowly and roll it all the way from one end to the other, one piece at a time, not both at the same time. So you just want to keep doing that. You can see it's a pretty tight roll. We'll go all the way to the end. Okay. And there you go. It's a very tight roll. We're going to take the second piece of carbon felt and wrap it around the outside of the first one and do the exact same thing. Try to keep it tight. You want it to be even on both top and bottom, so you don't want to have a kind of an offset there. You want it to be perfectly flat, both top and bottom. There we go. We're getting close, losing a little bit, so you have to be very careful when you're doing this because it tends to want to go in one direction or the other. There you go. So you have this, and this is almost exactly the same size as our can, so I'm going to put that down into the can. It'll expand a little bit from its tight roll, but as you can see, it doesn't come all the way to the top. There's a little bit of a gap right there all the way around, and there's a very specific reason, as I want to be able to see when I'm refueling the can, our device here, our heater, and so by having this a little bit below the top of the surface, we can see if we're about to overfill and have a spillage. Now just a quick note on this carbon felt. This carbon felt is actually acting as our wick, but it is an eternal wick. It will never burn up. It will last for years and years. I made a heater similar to this last year, but we used a different wick material that had a limited lifespan, would last a long time, but would not last near as long as carbon felt, which as far as I know could last for decades. So unless you're burning this every day over and over, you're probably going to have an extremely long lifespan of the carbon felt. Now you need to have a really good funnel that you're going to keep with this all the time. You either want to tape it to your canister because this is going to be the thing that you refuel it with, but there's another purpose of this funnel when we're first putting it together. We're going to put our funnel in there first, and the reason I mentioned extremely dry sand to begin with is we have to put sand all around the outer perimeter of this, and we need to keep the can centered. So we want it dead center, and we want to fill up with very dry sand. We want to try to avoid getting sand in this. I'm going to cover this with a paper towel, so if any sand does spill out, I can just remove the paper towel. So make sure you do that. Just kind of wrap it, maybe make it into a kind of an octagon. Put it in the top of your wick canister and just kind of put it around the edges. We can keep the majority of the sand from getting into that because we're going to be filling the outer can up probably within just a half an inch of the top of that. So same kind of situation, you just want it centered, and then we'll refill this can right here, or we'll fill for the first time with some very dry sand. All right, so we're near the top, and I've just kept refilling this funnel and then working my way around and trying to watch very carefully as to where the actual level is inside the can. I don't want to overfill. Like I said, I just want it to be roughly about a half inch from the top of the inner can. Now there's a couple of reasons for the sand. The sand makes this a little bit harder to tip over. It makes it much heavier, and it makes it a lot safer. But also the sand can absorb some of the heat and slowly release it. If you've ever had a campfire and the trick with a sleeping bag, it's very cold outside, you take some rocks, put them around the campfire, they heat up, and then over a period of hours overnight you can have some warmth coming from those rocks. So the sand is kind of doing the same thing. It absorbs some of the heat, and then over time it slowly releases it. So maybe even after hours after your fire is completely gone out of your torch, the fuel has ran out, you'll still have a little bit of heat coming from this sand material. Now next I want to talk about fuel, and the type of fuel you use is very important. You want something that burns extremely clean, and that's denatured alcohol. You could use a 99% rubbing alcohol, but I always use this because I can get it in a little bit larger quantity and it's a little bit cheaper. So we're going to refuel, or fuel for the first time, we're going to fuel our inner can where our wick is at. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our funnel and just keep this funnel with it, because wherever you store this away at, you want to have the funnel. And I'll tell you another couple of things about the lid of this particular canister, but just remember you have some matches, a funnel, so you have everything you need to make it operate properly without having to go and search for it. So in an emergency situation, you could label this with some painter's tape, remove it when you're ready to light, and you'll have an emergency heater ready to go through any situation. Now as you're fueling this, make sure you do it very slowly, because it's going to take a little bit of time for our wick to absorb all our denatured alcohol. So just going to do this very slowly, Don't overfill the can. If you see the alcohol coming to the surface early on, it may mean that your wick is so tightly wound it's not absorbing. So just give it some time. As you can see, it's taking a little bit of time, but the wick will completely absorb this and you'll be able to create a lot of heat. So just take your time and let it slowly absorb it. You don't have to fill the inner can all the way up because it's going to have enough in there. But just try it one time with maybe 1 or 2 full funnels so you can do your first test and you can see how well it works. Now, it took a solid 5 to 7 minutes for this to empty many times, and I probably have done this 4 times, and it's just slowly doing it. You can lift it up to allow it to go into the top, so it just gives an even saturation, but what you're doing is you're trying to fill this as close to the top as possible. Now, what I will say, if you're going to be storing this for a long period of time and you want to reseal the lid, the pineapple juice can is a little bit too tall. So what I'm doing, I'm just taping it because I'm allowing it to completely burn out in the greenhouse and then I refuel it. But if you want to store this in a pantry where it's airtight, where the seal isn't broken on your paint can, make sure you use a slightly smaller can. But my favorite is the pineapple juice can because it has such a large reservoir of our fuel. Now next, I had purchased some of these copper, possibly brass rods, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick 4 of these into the sand in 4 spots, evenly spaced all the way around the outside. What we're doing is we're creating a very stable top. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut one of these off. It's a little bit taller than the others, but what I'm doing is I want to create a top that's completely stable. What you can do to the top of this can is you can take a wood screw, screw it through, and then place it and let the wood screw go down into the copper tube, and that will make it even more stable, less likely for the top to get knocked off. So there we go. We have 4. They're basically all the same level. We've put 4 different spots, and I'll show you. I'm going to have to move the camera just a little bit so I can show you how this sits on the top. And one of them appears to be a little bit longer, so I'll have to take one of these cutters. This little cutter is perfect for any type of reducing the size of pipe. It's just a very small miniature pipe cutter. I'll put a link in the description to that as well if you have this problem where you have an uneven top. But we want this top to be sitting flat and even as possible because that's going to power our non-electric fan. It uses a type of electricity based upon the heat that's generated underneath, but it will help circulate the air into the room. So let me cut one of these off just to make it just the right size. All right, so I've cut those to make sure they're all even. I've put our paint can lid here. I'm going to put our fan on the very top, and that's going to get very hot, and I'll show you in just a minute how hot it is and how well it works at circulating air. We're going to take our torch lighter. We're going to light it. You can see it burns very clean, that blue flame. When you first light carbon felt, it does have a little bit of debris in it that will burn off. That'll take just a couple of minutes, and then you'll have a very clean burn. In just a sec, you'll see this fan starting to move. All right, so as you can see, the fan's running nicely. It's gotten quite hot on the top of the can. I'm just going to do some temperature testing for the top of the can. There, 260 degrees. We've only been going for about a minute. Inside the can on the outer area, I can get that in just the right spot. Not terribly hot, but once you get into the interior of the can, 500 degrees, jumping around a little bit there. So different temperatures, 674 on that side. The outside of the can where your hand might accidentally touch it, a nice 53 degrees. Now the exterior of this can will heat up over time, but it will not be near as hot as the interior. Now there's some nice warm air moving throughout the greenhouse now. The top of this can has become red hot and it will burn for many hours. I do have a carbon monoxide detector right inside the door of the greenhouse to make sure there's no toxic vapors from this. So I'm always talking about safety. So you need to make sure you have smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, a very small fire extinguisher. Make sure you don't use this around children or pets because they could put their hand on it. Even though it's heavier and not easy to knock over, they could still put their hand in there and burn it. So this is something that you would want to put maybe inside of a kitchen sink or on top of a stove or an unused fireplace if you didn't have any firewood to use in it. And it will put out a nice bit of heat. It's moving heat out into the room. So this is a super simple stove to put together and not expensive. And like I said, these cans come in packs of 4, so you could literally make 4 of these. You need 4 juice cans or 4 types of food cans and then 4 of these. These fans are not that expensive. I'll put a link to them in the description. But as I said earlier, if you want to store this for long-term storage, make sure you use a slightly smaller can so you can tightly put the lid on there if you're going to keep the fuel in there, because it will evaporate over time. If you put a tight lid on there, you're not going to lose any of your rubbing alcohol because it won't be able to escape. So just remember that one rule is that you need a slightly smaller can, unless you can find a larger paint can, and I've never seen anything but these standard 1 gallon cans for sale online. There could be a 1.5 gallon size somewhere, but I've never seen it. If that was the case, it would be perfect for this. But as you can see, it's burning very cleanly. It's really about the purity of the fuel, the length of time. And a lot of people always ask me, how long is it going to burn for? That all depends on what fuel you're using it in. The purity of the fuel will determine the length of the burn. Now I wanted to do one more test on the top of the can, just the top, not in the flame area. I'm going to try to have it where I just recorded about 500 degrees right next to the fan. Let's move that around there. Other side, we're a little bit below 400 right next to the fan, 506 right there. So as you can see, the top of this can becomes extremely hot, and there's a lot of warm air moving out from it, and there's no electricity. This is I don't know if they call it a thermoelectric fan or whatever, but it requires no electricity to work, and it'll push air, warm air throughout the room. The bottom of this can, or excuse me, the bottom of this fan touching the can has got a 500 degree temperature, and it's moving the air out nicely. So if you're in a small camper, a tent, again, make sure you have the carbon monoxide and a smoke detector and a fire extinguisher. But if you're in a small, confined area, this could heat up really quickly in an emergency situation. Now, I also want to talk about how the sand gets heated all the way to the bottom of the canister. Now, this is not going to put off a massive amount of heat, but the can will warm and it'll slowly put off heat. But these copper or brass rods around the edges are going to get very hot, and they're going to transfer heat down into the sand. So it does double duty. It's not only stabilizing to the top of our can, but it's also putting heat down into the sand, where it'll kind of act as a heat retention device where it keeps heat even once the flame goes out. So it can help just a little bit. And this fan, once the fire goes out, it's going to quit pretty slowly. So something like the sand being warm might give you just maybe 20-30 minutes extra of just a little bit of heat. Now, one last note about the fuel. As you can see, it's mostly a blue flame. A little bit of the orange or yellow flame you're seeing is probably some impurities that are inside of the carbon felt, but that will burn off over time, and you'll get mostly a blue flame out of it. Now, it's still running solid after about 40 minutes. No sign of any fuel running out. And this, my guesstimation, that size canister, you're probably going to get 3 to 4 hours of a flame before it starts to flame out. But again, it all depends on fuel purity. So the more pure your fuel is, the longer it's going to last. The heated air is moving out and away from this heater. I have a lot of different heaters online in my video library. So if this doesn't appeal to you, you can take a look at some of the others. But this one is one of my favorites because it's so easy to put together. So guys, I really appreciate you watching. If you want to help the channel grow, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below of a heater you might want to see me build. Also, I have a Patreon, so if you're interested in joining the Patreon and becoming a true supporter of the channel, that would be a great help too. I have free material there, free video, and also paid material for members. So take a look at that down there, and I think in the link you'll see it. And all the things that I'm talking about here, I'm putting links to all the products I'm using. So again, you just want to make sure that if you do store this long term and you leave the fuel in it, use a slightly smaller can so it can stay perfectly sealed and none of the denatured alcohol or whatever fuel you're using won't evaporate out of it. So guys, I really appreciate you watching. Have a great day.